Hey everybody, so here is your lesson for Wednesday, June 3rd. This is lesson 9, second to last lesson of the unit and the year. Very exciting. So, today we're going to talk about going from vertex to standard form. Okay? And we all learned that standard form is f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, this is our standard form right here. Sorry. So, just to review, the a value controls the opening of the parabola, whether it opens like a U or whether it opens like a mountain. So if this a value is positive, okay, it opens up. When we say up, it looks like this. If it's negative, it opens down. Okay? Second bullet, when a is greater than 1, the parabola will be skinnier. If a is in between 0 and 1, the parabola will be wider. Okay? The c value is the y-intercept. So this value, also known as the constant term, is where the parabola is going to cross the y-axis. So this is the y-intercept. So, we already know our standard form. Now let's talk about the vertex form. Okay? The vertex form looks something like this. F of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. It's the same equation, it just looks different. We just took our variables and our numbers and we altered them to make it look different. And the reason we do this is because it helps us actually graph. If we don't have a graph in front of us or we can't use a calculator like GeoGebra, these values will help us plot points onto a graph without actually having to use a calculator. So, first bullet, the h, okay, represents the x-axis shift. Okay, whether it's shifting from left or right. The k represents the y-axis shift. Okay, whether it's going to shift up or down. So hk actually represents the vertex of the parabola. The a value controls the opening of the parabola. So if the a is positive, it's going to open up. And if the a is negative, it's going to open down. So let's look at some examples. It might make more sense once we start to look at examples. Okay? Just quickly, I know we just went over this again. Or we just went over this, but let's look at it one more time, a little bit simpler. When we're looking at something in standard form, okay, the h is going to shift something left or right, a little bit simpler. So this is left or right. The k is going to shift it either up or down. This is going to go up or down. And when the number outside the parentheses is negative, the parabola opens, remember, down. Okay, if it's positive, it opens up. So, just looking at some examples here, okay? Look at the first picture here. The number in front of the parentheses, if it's positive, again, if there's nothing there, I'm going to put a 1. But if it's positive, the parabola is going to open up. Okay? The positive 3 tells me the graph shifts to the left 3. And the positive 0 tells me it goes up 3. Okay? And if we look at the graph, it represents exactly what it's talking about. It opens up. Okay? We shifted to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And it doesn't go up or down on the y-axis. Okay? It stays the same. Second one. Remember, if there's nothing there, I put a 1. So it's positive, so we know it opens up. Okay, negative 0 means it shifts to the right 0. Negative 6 means it shifts down 6. And that's exactly what happened. Okay, if we look, it opens up, It does not shift right or left, and it goes down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last one here. Okay, positive means it opens up. Positive 3 means it shifts to the left 3. And negative 6 means it shifts down 6. So, it opens up. We go to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and I forgot. That'll tell us the vertex as well. If we look at the vertex of this, this is negative 3, 6. Okay, and look at our values. We change the sign of the value inside the parentheses and leave this the same. So we have negative 3, 6. Same thing for the other ones, okay? The vertex of this is going to be 0, negative 6. 0, negative 6. And this one, okay, we have negative 3, 0. And look, we change the sign of the number inside the parentheses and we leave the one outside the same. 0 doesn't technically have a sign, so it's always positive. Again, okay, look outside the parenthesis. I have a negative, so I know it goes down. Negative 0 means it moves to the left, to the right 0. Positive 0 means it moves down 0. So here's my vertex, 0, 0. And that makes sense. Second one, I have a negative number on the outside, so I know it goes down, which it does. Okay, positive 1 on the outside tells me it shifts to the left 1, which it does. And if there's nothing on the outside, it's like a positive 0. Okay, so it means it shifts down 0, and it doesn't move at all on the up or down. So my vertex is negative 1, 0. And the last one here, I have a negative, so it's down. Negative 4 inside the parentheses means it shifts right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And positive 1 means it goes up 1. So up 1. So my vertex is 4, negative 1. And look, we changed the sign inside the parentheses and we kept the sign of the number outside the parentheses. So 4, positive 1. Oh, and I had a mistake here. There should be 4, positive 1. All right, some examples here. Okay, we're going to do 4 examples today. So it says, convert the given quadratic equation, f of x equals x plus 1 squared minus 7 from vertex to standard form. So you can tell it's in that vertex form. Remember, vertex form looks like this. So we want to go from vertex form to standard form. We want to convert it to this. And actually the arrow should be pointing this way. Okay, we're going from vertex to standard form. So, first things first, okay? Let's look. We can tell what the vertex is because if we look at the equation, okay, the vertex is going to be the opposite of this number as our x value, so negative 1, and the same number that you see on the outside, negative 7. Okay, we don't change the sign of the number on the outside. Okay, so we have negative 1, 7 as our vertex. Negative 1, negative 7. Sorry, I was correct in the first place. Where my head is today. Negative 1, negative 7. Sorry, guys. Okay, the number on the outside, which is 1, is positive. So we know that the graph opens up. If the parabola opens up, we know that we have a minimum value. Okay? Remember, well, okay, the y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis. I don't know this yet. Okay, I need to dig a little bit deeper. I need to change it into standard form first. Remember, once we have things in standard form, we can figure out the c from our standard form will tell us what the y-intercept is. So we need to convert this to standard form to figure out what the y-intercept is. So let's do that. So I have x plus 1 times x plus 1 minus 7. And I'm going to multiply. So x times x gives me x squared. X times 1 gives me 1x. 1 times x gives me 1x. 1 times 1 gives me 1. And I'm going to bring down my minus 7. Combine your like terms. I have my 1x and my 1x. And I can also combine my positive 1 and negative 7 because they're like terms. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 6. Okay, here's your standard form. Remember, this is standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. Now I can tell that my y-intercept is negative 6. So I can put that on the graph here. My y-intercept is negative 6. And my axis of symmetry, guys, remember, we always use the x value from our vertex. So my axis of symmetry equals negative 1. Okay? So now you can kind of draw your parabola. And remember, parabolas always have identical reflections. So this is what our parabola will look like. All right, let's do another one for practice. Okay? Convert the quadratic equation from vertex to standard form. So right now it's in vertex form. Okay? So we know our vertex. Remember, if we take the number inside and we do the opposite sign. So if it's negative 3, our vertex is going to have a positive 3, comma. We leave this number alone, just as is, so positive 5. So my vertex is going to be 3, 5. So I can put that on my graph now. 3, 5 is my vertex. A, here's A. A is negative, so we know that it opens down. Okay, if it opens down, we're going to have a maximum. Guys, could you please shut the door up there?
Yes, sorry.
My family is so loud. Okay. Now, in order to figure out the y-intercept, we need to change it to standard form. So right now we're in vertex and we need to go to standard. So I'm going to simplify. I have like a negative 1 on the outside here, so I'm going to leave that. Negative 1. X minus 3 squared is the same thing as x minus 3 times x minus 3 plus 5. So I'm going to simplify. Multiply. X times x gives me, oh sorry, we have to bring down the negative 1. But now I'm going to multiply. X times x gives me x squared. X times negative 3 gives me negative 3x. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 3 gives me positive 9. Bring down the plus 5. Simplify everything inside the parentheses. Combine your like terms. Negative 3x and negative 3x. Okay, gives me negative 6x. Now we take our 1 on the outside and we multiply each term on the inside by negative 1. So negative 1 times x squared gives me negative x squared. Negative 1 times negative 6x gives me positive 6x. And negative 1 times positive 9 gives me negative 9. Bring down the plus 5. We don't include that because it wasn't inside the parentheses. And you combine your like terms again. Negative 9 plus 5 gives me negative 4. So negative x squared plus 6x minus 4. Okay, so now we know our y-intercept is y equals -4. So this graph is going to cross the y-axis at -4. Okay, and I know that how many spots away is it from the vertex? 1, 2, 3. I can go the opposite way in the same line. 1, 2, 3. And that's how you can form your parabola. Okay, the axis of symmetry, I mean, you can look at the graph or you can look at the x value of the vertex. Is x equals 3. Okay, 2 more. Convert the given quadratic equation from vertex to standard form. Okay, let's find the vertex first. Okay, I take the number inside and I change its sign from negative to positive. Take the number on the outside and I leave it alone. So I know my vertex is 4, 1. So 4, 1. Let's fill in some other information. If I know that the vertex, I know the axis of symmetry is 4. Okay, my A value, the number in the front, is positive, so A is going to open up. My parabola is going to open up. If it opens up, we know we have a minimum value. Alright, in order to find the y-intercept, I need to change it first to standard form. So let's start to multiply. I leave the number on the outside alone. So 1/2 times x minus 4 squared is the same as x minus 4 times x minus 4 plus 1. I multiply my terms. So x times x, and then x times -4. I'm going to do the same thing here. So 1/2 on the outside of the parentheses. That x times x gave me x squared. X times -4 is -4x. -4 times x is -4x. And -4 times -4 is positive 16. Plus 1 on the outside. Combine your like terms on the inside of the parentheses. I have -4x and -4x. Gives me -8x. Bring everything else down. Now we're going to multiply the number, the 1/2 into each term. So 1/2 times x squared, 1/2 times -8x, and 1/2 times 16. 1/2 times x squared is just 1/2 x squared. 1/2 times -8x is -4x. And 1/2 times 16 is positive 8. Bring down our plus 1. Combine your like terms, clean it up. We can do 8 plus 1, which will give us positive 9. So I really have 1/2 x squared minus 4x plus 9. So now I know my y-intercept is 9. Okay, so on my graph now, I can plot my plus 9, and I know that this dot is how many on the horizontal axis away? 1, 2, let's see, this goes up to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, so I go over another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's another point for your parabola. So here's how I'm going to connect it. Best that you can. Alright, we'll do one more practice problem, okay? The vertex. Remember, we take the number inside and we change its sign. So instead of -4, I put positive 4. Leave this number alone. Another positive 4. The A value is negative, so I know that the parabola is going to open down. If it opens down, we have a maximum point. Okay, now let's change it to standard form. So I leave the number on the outside of the parentheses, and I'm going to multiply x minus 4 times x minus 4. Plus 4 on the outside. So let's start multiplying. We're going to do x times x, then x times -4. So x times x gives me x squared. X times -4 gives me -4x. Now the other term, negative 4 times x and negative 4 times negative 4. Negative 4 times x gives me negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 4 gives me positive 16. Bring down the plus 4 on the outside. Combine like terms on the inside of the parentheses. I have negative 4x and negative 4x. Gives me negative 8x. So I'm going to write that. X squared minus 8x plus 16 plus 4. Got to get rid of my parentheses, so I multiply each term by negative 1/4. That's inside the parentheses. Negative 1/4 times x squared is negative 1/4 x squared. Negative 1/4 times negative 8x is positive 2x. And again, guys, GeoGebra will do these calculations for you. And negative 1/4 times 16 gives me negative 4. Bring down your plus 4. Combine your like terms, negative 4 and positive 4. Okay, gives you 0, so they cancel out. So I'm left with negative 1/4 x squared plus 2x. Okay, if I look at this one, there is no c value. There's nothing at the end of this. Okay, 2x is not your c, it's your b. So the y-intercept then is 0. Axis of symmetry, remember, it's the same value as your x value from your vertex, equals 4. So I'm going to start to plot. My vertex is 4, 4. My y-intercept is 0. And if I know that, I just go the opposite way. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know that this is my parabola. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Please take a look at the assignment. Just do the best you can. I know it gets a little bit tough with the algebra, but please contact me if you have any questions. Talk to you soon.